The real Mary Magdalene, separating fact from fiction. Mary Magdalene, a name that sparks fascination, mystery, and a whirlwind of misconceptions. Throughout history, she has been vilified and romanticized, misunderstood and celebrated, her true story often buried beneath a mountain of myths. But who was Mary Magdalene? Was she a repentant sinner, a romantic partner of Jesus, or something far more profound? In this video, we embark on a journey to uncover the real Mary Magdalene, separating enduring fiction from historical fact. Join us as we explore her origins, role in early Christianity, and why her story remains one of the most compelling narratives in religious history. To uncover Mary's real identity, we must start with the basics. Mary Magdalene, also called Mary of Magdala, was a Jewish woman from a fishing town on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee called Magdala. She is one of the most frequently mentioned women in the New Testament and plays a key role in the life and ministry of Jesus Christ. Mary is introduced in the Gospel of Luke as a follower of Jesus, one from whom 7 demons had been cast out. While the exact meaning of this demon possession isn't entirely clear, it suggests a profound healing experience that transformed her life. This event marked the beginning of her unwavering devotion to Jesus. Her story reaches its zenith during the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ. Mary is one of the few followers who remains present at the crucifixion, a moment of immense fear and despair when even some male disciples fled. Most notably, she is the first witness to Jesus' resurrection, making her essentially the first messenger of the central event of Christianity. These facts set Mary apart as a pivotal figure in biblical history. Despite her significance, Mary Magdalene has long been the victim of misconceptions and misrepresentations. One of the most pervasive myths is her false association with prostitution. This portrayal stems from a sermon given by Pope Gregory I in 591 AD, where he mistakenly conflated her with the unnamed sinful woman who anointed Jesus' feet in Luke's Gospel. For centuries, this erroneous depiction shaped her image as a repentant sinner, a view that has been sensationalized in art, sermons, and literature. Another popular but unfounded theory is the idea of a romantic relationship between Mary Magdalene and Jesus. This concept gained widespread visibility with the publication of novels like the Da Vinci Code. While compelling for storytelling, there is no historical or biblical evidence to support this claim. The persistence of these misconceptions has overshadowed her true role as a devoted disciple and early leader within the Christian faith. How did Mary Magdalene's image become so distorted? To understand this, we must examine the cultural and institutional forces that shaped her portrayal over time. The depiction of Mary as a sinner or outsider often reflects the patriarchal biases of early church traditions. By reimagining her as a repentant woman rather than a central figure in Jesus' life, her story was subtly reframed in a way that diminished her leadership. This reimagining extended into art and literature where her character was romanticized or marginalized. Medieval and Renaissance art commonly portrayed her as a weeping penitent, reinforcing her association with sin and repentance. These depictions shifted attention away from her historic and theological significance, ultimately contributing to her erasure as a leading figure in early Christianity. When we return to the biblical text, a different picture of Mary Magdalene emerges. In the Gospels, she is mentioned repeatedly as a close companion of Jesus and as the witness to his resurrection. Her role is not only personal but foundational to the story of Christianity itself. The resurrection accounts place Mary at the forefront, with the Gospel of John delivering one of the most moving encounters between Mary and the risen Jesus. Mistaking him for the gardener, she only recognizes him when he calls her by name. This intimate moment reveals the depth of her relationship with Jesus and her importance to his ministry. Furthermore, it challenges the norms of the time, as a woman is trusted with the monumental task of proclaiming the resurrection, a role that gives her the title Apostle to the Apostles. In light of these passages, it is clear that Mary Magdalene was far more than the caricature of a sinner or a side character. She was a disciple in her own right, her faith and devotion unmatched, her role foundational to the early church. Beyond the canonical Gospels, Mary Magdalene also appears prominently in non-canonical texts, like the Gnostic Gospels, which offer additional perspectives on her life and role. The Gospel of Mary, for instance, presents Mary as a figure of deep spiritual insight and leadership. In this text, she is portrayed as the one who understands Jesus' teachings more profoundly than the other disciples. However, these writings also highlight the tensions between Mary and some of the male disciples, especially Peter, about her leadership. This conflict could reflect the broader struggle for women's authority within early Christian communities. While the Gnostic texts are not considered part of the Bible, they provide valuable insight into how Mary Magdalene's role as a leader was remembered and contested in some early Christian traditions. Historical evidence suggests that Mary may have played a significant leadership role in the early Christian movement. She is often described as a key follower of Jesus, someone who provided not just spiritual support, but material resources for his ministry. Her presence at pivotal moments like the resurrection and her portrayal in the Gnostic texts underline her influence in shaping the fledgling church. Unfortunately, as the institutional church grew and became more patriarchal, stories of women leaders, including Mary Magdalene, were downplayed or forgotten. This erasure reflects broader patterns of marginalizing women's contributions to religious history. Mary's story serves as a powerful reminder of the voices lost to time and the importance of reclaiming them. Archaeological discoveries and historical research have also shed light on Mary Magdalene's time and environment. Excavations in Magdala have uncovered a synagogue from the 1st century, suggesting that her hometown was a place of religious and cultural significance. These findings help contextualize her life as a Jewish woman living during a tumultuous period of Roman occupation. Scholars have also studied the roles of women in Jesus' time, revealing that women like Mary Magdalene were often vital participants in religious communities. While not leaders in the traditional sense, women were respected figures who played critical roles in spreading and sustaining religious movements, aligning with Mary Magdalene's depiction in the Gospels. The misrepresentation of Mary Magdalene is not merely a historical flaw. It has real implications for how we view and include women in religious and social leadership today. By reducing her to a figure of sin or sentimentality, patriarchal narratives obscured her true contributions to early Christianity. This distortion has perpetuated the marginalization of women in religious history and leadership roles for centuries. Reclaiming Mary Magdalene's story not only corrects the historical record, but also challenges the broader patterns of bias and exclusion that exist to this day. In modern times, Mary Magdalene's image has undergone a resurgence, although not without controversy. From films like The Last Temptation of Christ and Mary Magdalene to the best-selling novel The Da Vinci Code, her story has been reimagined and reinterpreted. These portrayals highlight her enduring allure, but often prioritize sensational elements over historical accuracy. Yet there has been progress. Modern depictions increasingly focus on her importance as a disciple and witness to the resurrection, emphasizing her spiritual significance rather than her fictionalized flaws. This renewed interest reflects a broader cultural shift toward reclaiming lost voices in history, and Mary Magdalene's voice is perhaps one of the most deserving of this effort. To understand Mary Magdalene is to embrace her complexity as a historical and spiritual figure. She was not merely a saint or a sinner, but a living person whose faith and devotion left an indelible mark on religious history. Her story inspires us to dig deeper, to question narratives shaped by power and prejudice, and to honor the forgotten voices that have shaped our traditions. Mary Magdalene's significance lies not only in what she represents, but also in what her story teaches us about resilience, faith, and the transformative power of truth. Her legacy invites us to confront biases, celebrate women's leadership, and seek a fuller understanding of our shared past. Mary Magdalene was not the repentant prostitute or romantic figure of legend, but a devoted follower of Jesus, the first witness to his resurrection, and a leader in her own right. Her story challenges us to rethink how history is written and who writes it. By rediscovering Mary Magdalene, we not only honor her legacy, but also shine a light on the voices history has obscured, empowering us to build a future rooted in truth. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the real Mary Magdalene. Let her story remind us of the importance of questioning, learning, and rediscovering the truths that inspire and unite us.